Right, hello there. Welcome to our deep dive into Switzerland's unparalleled civil defence system. Now, when you think of Switzerland, you probably picture mountains, chocolate, ridiculously precise watches, and of course that neutrality thing they're so famous for. But beneath that serene, yodeling surface lies something truly extraordinary, a network of bunkers so vast, so comprehensive, it's frankly a little bit terrifying, and also, let's be honest, deeply impressive. We're talking about a country that has legislated paranoia into an art form, ensuring there's a reinforced concrete hidey hole for pretty much everyone, and then some. And this isn't some quaint historical relic, oh no, this is a living, breathing and occasionally repurposed testament to a national obsession with preparedness. From legal foundations that make bunker building as Swiss as fondue to modern repurposing that sees these subterranean fortresses finding new life as well, you'll see. So let's explore why this small landlocked nation has one of the most comprehensive civil defense infrastructures in the world. It's a story of fear, foresight, and an absolutely staggering amount of concrete. Seriously, the sheer scale of it is mind-boggling. We're going to unpack how a country that hasn't seen a foreign invader on its soil for centuries decided that the best way to keep it that way was to be ready to disappear underground at a moment's notice. We'll look at the laws, the numbers, the military strategies, the cultural mindset, the engineering, and what they're doing with all these holes in the ground today. So, grab your emergency rations or just a comfy chair, because this is going to be quite the journey into the Swiss psyche, one blast door at a time. So, how does an entire nation get turned into a potential subterranean society? Well, in Switzerland it starts, as so many wonderfully bureaucratic things do, with the law. Specifically, the federal law on civil protection and its trusty sidekick, Article 45 of the Civil Protection Ordinance. These aren't just gentle suggestions, mind you, these are serious. An actual government will come after you if you don't comply type laws. Essentially, since the 1960s, these bits of legislation have mandated that every new residential building, every single one, must include a private nuclear fallout shelter. Yes, you heard that right. Building a nice new apartment block. Lovely. Now, where's the reinforced concrete box that can withstand a nuclear apocalypse? And if for some reason a builder can't include a private shelter, perhaps they're building a particularly whimsical treehouse, though I doubt Swiss regulations are that forgiving, they're not off the hook. Oh no. They then have to contribute to the construction of a public or communal shelter instead. This isn't some quirky niche regulation. It's a cornerstone of Swiss planning. Think about that for a second. While other countries were debating bell-bottoms and disco, the Swiss were methodically ensuring every citizen had a designated spot to ride out the end of the world. It's a level of nationwide, legally enforced preparedness that is, quite frankly, unparalleled globally. Most countries have some public shelters. Switzerland decided that some was a rookie number. Now, when we talk about these mandated shelters, we're not just talking about a few dusty basements here and there. Oh no, this is Switzerland. They do things properly, or, in this case, excessively. We're looking at approximately 384,000 private bunkers. Let that number sink in. Nearly 400,000 little subterranean safe havens, typically located in the cellars of homes and apartment buildings, each designed to protect the inhabitants from all sorts of unpleasantness. These aren't just reinforced rooms. They often come with specific features like blast doors, ventilation systems, and enough concrete to make a brutalist architect weep with joy. But wait, there's more, because what if you're caught out and about when the metaphorical cuckoo clock strikes doom? That's where the public or communal shelters come in. There are thousands of these larger facilities, often integrated into schools, hospitals, and other public buildings. And here's the kicker. The statistic that truly elevates Swiss preparedness to an almost mythical status combined, these private and public shelters have the capacity to house 114% of the entire Swiss population. Yes, 114%. They literally have more bunker space than people. It's like they're expecting guests for the apocalypse, or perhaps they just really value personal space, even during a catastrophe. This obsession with going underground isn't just a civilian pastime, it's deeply rooted in Swiss military strategy, particularly the concept of the national redoubt or Reduit National. This was a defensive plan heavily utilized during World War II and refined throughout the Cold War, which essentially involved the Swiss army conceding the more vulnerable lowlands in the event of an invasion and retreating into a heavily fortified, pre-prepared defensive perimeter deep within the Alps. Imagine that. "All right, chaps, the flat bits are lost. Everyone to the mountains. Last one there is a rotten rosti." It was a strategy of attrition, designed to make occupying Switzerland an absolute nightmare for any aggressor. These weren't just natural caves they were nipping into either. We're talking about an extensive, dual-use network of bunkers, tunnels, and fortified positions, many of which were ingeniously camouflaged to blend into the mountainside. Think hidden artillery emplacements, underground barracks, hospitals, command centers, entire military infrastructures burrowed into the rock. Places like Fort de Daily, a massive underground fortress complex, or the Sasso da Pigna near the Gotthard Pass are prime examples of this. These weren't just shelters, they were active military installations, ready to turn the Alps themselves into an impenetrable bastion. It's military hide-and-seek on a national and incredibly serious scale. Now you might be thinking, Switzerland, neutrality, why all the fuss and the bunkers? And that's a fair question. But Swiss neutrality has always been a neutrality, a porcupine-like stance of leave us alone or you'll regret it. During World War II, Switzerland found itself completely encircled by Axis powers and their allies. Imagine being a tiny democratic island in a sea of totalitarianism. It's enough to make anyone a bit twitchy, and understandably so. This precarious position led to rapid mobilization and a massive acceleration of fortification efforts. They weren't just hoping their neutrality would be respected, they were preparing for the very real possibility that it wouldn't. Then came the Cold War, and with it a new, even more terrifying threat: nuclear annihilation. The fear of encirclement didn't exactly vanish, but it was now compounded by the prospect of radioactive fallout drifting across Europe, respecting no borders, neutral or otherwise. This is when the emphasis on nuclear fallout shelters truly kicked into high gear, leading to the laws we discussed earlier. The Swiss looked at the geopolitical chessboard, saw superpowers playing with apocalyptic toys, and collectively decided that if the world was going to end, they'd at least have a well-ventilated place to wait it out. It's a testament to a pragmatic, if somewhat pessimistic, view of international relations. This whole bunker bonanza isn't just about laws and military strategy, it's deeply ingrained in the Swiss cultural mindset. There's a pervasive sense of preparedness and civil duty that you don't see in many other places. For starters, there's mandatory military service for men, which often includes civil defense training, so a significant portion of the population knows their way around emergency procedures and quite possibly a bunker or two. It's not just something the government handles, it's a shared responsibility. This creates a baseline level of awareness and readiness that's quite remarkable. This culture of preparedness extends into everyday life. The government has historically distributed booklets like What to Do in Case of War, charming bedtime reading, I'm sure, detailing everything from how to seal your windows against gas attacks to recognizing enemy uniforms. Schools conduct emergency procedures, and citizens are actively encouraged to stock their private bunkers, or at least have emergency supplies on hand. Water, non-perishable food, first aid kits, radios. It's a level of civic engagement in national security that makes other countries' occasional fire drills look positively amateurish. It's less keep calm and carry on, and more keep calm, carry on, and by the way, here's your personal fallout shelter. Now, it's one thing to build a nation of bunkers, but it's quite another to actually it, especially when your country is basically a giant, beautiful rock. And this is where Swiss engineering excellence and their unique alpine geography come into play, turning a challenge into an advantage. The very mountains that define Switzerland's landscape provide the perfect naturally fortified locations for these structures. Digging into solid rock offers incredible protection, far more than you'd get from a hole in your average suburban garden. It's like Mother Nature herself offered up the ultimate building material. And the Swiss, let's be clear, are world-class when it comes to tunneling and concrete engineering. These are the people who casually drill things like the Gotthard Base Tunnel, the longest and deepest railway tunnel in the world, through the Alps. building a few 100,000 reinforced shelters. Practically a weekend project for them. Their expertise in working with challenging terrain, their precision in construction, and their mastery of concrete technology mean that when they build a bunker, they build it to last, and they build it to withstand almost anything. It's a perfect marriage of geographical opportunity and engineering prowess, resulting in a subterranean network that's both vast and incredibly robust. So, with the Cold War a fading memory and thankfully no immediate apocalyptic threats on the horizon, what happens to this colossal network of underground real estate? Are they all just sitting there gathering dust and cobwebs? Well, some are, meticulously maintained and ready at a moment's notice, because the Swiss aren't ones to let their preparedness guard down completely. The obligation to maintain these shelters often still exists, and regular checks are sometimes carried out. It's like having a national insurance policy written in concrete and steel. But many of these bunkers, particularly some of the larger public or decommissioned military ones, have found fascinating new leases on life. We're talking high-security data centers taking advantage of the inherent protection and stable temperatures. Some have been converted into climate-controlled art storage facilities or even quirky wine cellars. Because what's the point of surviving the apocalypse if you can't enjoy a good vintage afterwards? Others serve as emergency shelters for the homeless or temporary accommodation. Notable sites like the Sonnenberg Tunnel in Dubendorf, once a massive civilian shelter, have parts that are now used for various purposes, showcasing this adaptability. It's a very Swiss solution, pragmatic, resourceful, and still fundamentally very secure. So there you have it, a comprehensive look at why Switzerland has so many bunkers and how they continue to serve the nation in various capacities. It's a fascinating blend of historical anxiety, legal mandate, engineering brilliance, and a national character that values preparedness above almost all else. From the strategic military redoubts carved into the Alps to the private shelter in Mrs. Muller's basement, these structures tell a unique story about a country determined to protect itself no matter the odds, or the cost of concrete. It really is a unique case study in civil defense, one that prompts questions about security neutrality and the lengths a nation will go to ensure its survival and the safety of its citizens. While the immediate threats of the Cold War have receded, the legacy of that era is literally embedded in the Swiss landscape, ready to be reactivated or repurposed as needed. It's a reminder that sometimes the most peaceful seeming places have the most elaborate contingency plans. Who knew that beneath all that chocolate and cheese lay a nation perpetually ready for anything? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating topics. We've got plenty more strange and wonderful corners of the world to explore, though perhaps few with quite so many well-ventilated, blast-proof basements. Until next time, stay curious and maybe check your own cellar for its apocalypse readiness. You never know.